Debt collectors texted me. Your wife borrowed money. Daily interest is 100 million. Pay today. I opened my phone and felt my heart drop straight to the bottom, not because of one message, but because of dozens of them. It was just a normal morning. I had just arrived at the office and sat down at my desk when my phone started vibrating nonstop. At first, I thought it was my work group chat, but when I unlocked the screen, I saw nothing but unknown numbers. One message appeared on the screen. Your wife borrowed money from us. Daily interest, 100 million Vietnamese dongs. Payment due today. I frowned. Wrong number? Before I could even react, another message came in. Don't pretend you don't know. We have all your family's information. Then a third one. If you don't pay today, we'll come to your house. My heart started beating faster. I immediately called my wife. The phone rang. Once, twice, no answer. A cold feeling slowly crawled up my spine. I texted the number back. You've got the wrong person. My wife didn't borrow money from anyone. The reply came almost instantly. A photo. I opened it. It was my wife's ID card. Underneath it was a handwritten document. Loan agreement. Amount, 30. Interest rate, 30% per month. I stared at the signature at the bottom. It was my wife's handwriting. My hands started trembling. But what truly made me freeze was the next message. That's only one loan. Then more photos came. 1, 2, 3. I sat there, completely frozen in front of the screen. When I added them up, it was nearly 1 billion. I left work immediately and rushed home. The whole way there, one sentence kept repeating in my mind. This can't be real. My wife used to be extremely careful with money. She used to calculate every single thousand when grocery shopping. So how could she borrow nearly 1 billion? When I opened the door, I saw her sitting on the sofa. A laptop was in front of her. On the screen was a live stream. A woman was speaking passionately. Money is energy. If you fear money, money will leave you. If you want to be rich, you must first believe you deserve wealth. My wife stared at the screen with shining eyes. I placed my phone on the table. Did you borrow money? She turned to me. No panic. No guilt. Just calm. So you know already? Her voice was light, almost casual. I swallowed hard. How much did you borrow? She stayed silent for a few seconds, then said, almost 1 billion. The entire room felt frozen. I had to grab the edge of the table to steady myself. You borrowed nearly 1 billion for what? She looked at me seriously. To invest in myself. I thought I misheard her. Invest? She nodded. Courses. I laughed, not because it was funny, but because I didn't know how else to react. Courses, worth 1 billion? She shook her head. No, multiple courses. Then she started listing them. 150 million for a program called Activating Wealth Energy. 200 million for Healing Your Money Karma. 120 million for Awakening the Goddess Within. And there were also workshops, retreats, advanced programs. Every number felt like a hammer smashing into my head. Finally, I asked the last question. How are you planning to pay it back? She looked at me, then smiled. A very strange smile. Money will come. I felt like my head was about to explode. What money? She answered with absolute certainty. The universe will send it. I stood there, unable to say a single word. 3 days later, everything exploded. A group of men showed up at our house. They didn't smash anything. They didn't shout, but just standing outside the gate was enough to make the entire neighborhood stare. My parents were home that day. My father opened the door. One of the men spoke politely. We came to discuss your daughter-in-law's debt. My father turned and looked at me. His eyes were full of confusion. Just a few minutes later, my mother started crying. My father went completely silent. He had never heard a number close to 1 billion in his entire life. That afternoon, my mother had to be hospitalized due to low blood pressure. The doctor said it was psychological shock. I sat outside the hospital hallway. My phone kept vibrating nonstop. Messages, calls, debt collectors, threats. The pressure felt like a massive stone crushing my chest. But when I looked at my wife, she said something that made my blood run cold. Don't worry. I looked at her. It's going to be fine, she continued. The next course will help me release my money karma, and after that, money will come. I stared at the woman in front of me, the woman who used to be my wife, but at that moment, I felt like I was talking to a complete stranger. That night, I couldn't sleep. I sat alone in the living room. I opened my phone and searched for something I never imagined I would search before: psychiatrists. At first, I felt cruel, but then I thought about the billion-dong debt, my mother lying in a hospital bed, the endless calls from collectors, and the strange look in my wife's eyes. I knew we couldn't keep living like this. The next morning I told her I booked an appointment. She looked up. For what? I tried to speak as gently as possible. A psychological consultation. The atmosphere in the room changed instantly. The smile disappeared from her face. Her eyes turned cold, very cold. She stared directly at me, then said slowly, "Do you think I'm crazy?" Before I could answer, she stood up, looked straight into my eyes, and said something that made my spine freeze. "I'm not the one with the problem." She pointed at me. "You're the one who needs healing." But that wasn't the scariest part. That night, I woke up at 3 a.m. and saw my wife sitting in the middle of the living room. Dozens of candles surrounded her. She was whispering to someone, not on the phone, not on the laptop. No one was there, just darkness. When I slowly walked closer, she turned her head and looked at me. Her eyes were completely unfamiliar. Then she said something that made my heart stop. "Be quiet. The universe is answering me."